My name is Matt, and I'm gonna cut right to the chase and say that I love Owlboy. D-Pad Studios' magnum opus is a modern masterpiece as far as I'm concerned, and I wholeheartedly give it my strongest recommendation. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw and you want to see... In all seriousness, Owlboy is indeed in the running for one of my favorite games. That might seem like a hasty claim, especially considering I've only now played it for the first time ever, but there have been very few titles that have left as lasting of an impression on me as this did, and I want to spread the word of its brilliance as far and as wide as I can. In order to do that without giving too much away, I've decided to deviate from my normal in-depth format and just talk about the basics. I want to encourage as many of you as possible to check this out and go into it with a clean slate, so here's a small sample of what Owlboy has to offer. Conceived as a tribute to Kid Icarus and the other Nintendo classics, Owlboy began production all the way back in 2007 and went through quite a number of changes over the years before finally being released in November of 2016. As should become immediately apparent from the title screen, D-Pad Studios' breakout hit replicates the 16-bit era aesthetic but enhances upon it to create a truly magical piece of art. We're quickly introduced to the world of Veli and its inhabitants as we assume the role of Otis, the mute protagonist. Otis is mired in a stressful situation over his uncertainty of purpose, and this crisis of confidence is exacerbated even further by Ozio, the super strict mentor, but he finds solace in a helpful hand in the form of his friend Getty. Without spoiling significant story arcs, the duo end up investigating some local shenanigans, which ultimately escalates into a much bigger conflict with a gang of pirate robots, and the journey they embark on involves a JRPG-esque roller coaster ride of emotions with a masterfully crafted cast of characters you're guaranteed to fall in love with. The engaging narrative is complemented by the tight and top-notch gameplay, which blends platforming, puzzle solving, and stealth elements into a satisfying and often challenging mix. The controls and mechanics are smooth as silk on the Switch, and I had a blast experimenting with the proper attack strategies to eliminate any and all foes that stood in my path. I've seen people complain online about this boss being too hard or that event being flawed, but I honestly had very few issues during my capture session. There were definitely sections that required a little bit of trial and error, and the optional cannon challenge was a huge pain in the ass, but none of that stopped me from finishing in around 12 hours without glancing once at a guide, and I remained determined in my resolve throughout that Owlboy is about as perfect as a game gets. The ending admittedly subverted my expectations and left me in a state of stunned silence as I mentally processed what I'd experienced, but my adoration for D-Pad Studios' passion project never faltered. Of course, I must note that the price tag is relatively steep, with the download and physical copies being sold for $25 and $30 respectively. Whether the amount of content justifies that cost is up to the individual consumer, but it was absolutely worth every penny for me, and anyone who enjoys non-linear exploratory adventures a la Metroid should give it a try. Anyway, I'm sorry about the shorter than usual video, but I promise I'll make up for it soon. Be sure to come back when I do, but until then, this is Matt, aka Cygnus Destroyer, signing out and urging you to please play Owlboy. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw and you want to see more, the boxes on the screen right now will lead to some more of my videos, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking on my avatar in the bottom right hand corner. Thanks again.